Said this is a lounge. Culture and justice, you know you can trust that we holding it down. Well, you can bet we applying that pressure, it come by the pound. Speaking the truth and allow us to do what makes us so profound. That's why we got the crown. Said this is a lounge. Culture and justice, you know you can trust that we holding it down. Well, you can bet we applying that pressure, it come by the pound. We living better no matter the weather, we sticking around. Come see what we found. Yeah, this is the lounge. VSOP for the record, no better. Yeah, this for the wealth. Both of the people are equals, no better. To speak for the culture, our needs and our health. Conscious it reign with dignity, giving the keys to victory and being a man. Lift up the culture, protect it from leeches and vultures, and speak for who need in the hands. Cause this is the lounge.
Welcome back to another edition of the VSOP Lounge. Finally, I am back. It's been far too long. And I apologize for the long delay, moving across country. Bigger and better things are coming. We're sitting in the new GML studio. Life could not be any better. But I recall that I cut the last series short. I moved from VA to LA, and life is good. So cheers to life out of this 14.5 ounce highball glass, available at shop grownmanlogicpod.com. Shop grownmanlogicpod.com. We tonight are sipping 1738. 1738 is our drink of the evening. Now, I cut the last series short. We were talking about relationship killers. And during the research for that particular series, I came to realize that a lot of the times relationships fail because we're not doing the work on ourselves. So here's the new series. We have to kill Bill. We have to kill Bill. Yes, just like the Tarantino flick, Kill Bill. But when we talk about Kill Bill, we have to talk about bias, inadequacy, laziness, and lackadaisicalness. Bias, inadequacy, laziness, and inadequacy, laziness, and lackadaisicalness. Now, you might ask, why? Why this topic? Why now? It's because when we don't do the work on ourselves, these four things are the things that tend to hold us back the most. Our biases, what we think of other people, what we think the world is going to think of us, our environment, what we've been taught, what we've been trained to do, our inadequacies, our feelings of self-doubt and lack of self-worth and things of that nature, our laziness, our inability or our lack of a will to get up and actually do some work, and our lackadaisicalness, where we don't have any motivation. We're kind of just floating through life. You see me hashtag it all the time. I say, live, don't just exist. Live, don't just exist. Now, you might not know anybody who suffers from this particular illness or affliction or character flaw or area of improvement, but stats show 42% of people under the age of 50 lack the motivation to work. And this is a Pew Research study. 53% of people ages 18 to 29 find it difficult to motivate themselves. So the idea struck me due to a conversation that I had with the great man, Jay Burrows, author of the book Porn, also the Truth Talk podcast. And, you know, he and I were on an early morning call discussing some business opportunities and ventures. And he somehow the subject of Kill Bill, or understanding Tarantino films and looking at it from a young eye, looking for entertainment, versus looking at it from an older, mature eye, looking for the lesson. And that's where a lot of us fail. So we're going to kick off this series. It's going to be a 5-parter. Kill Bill. Again, that's bias, inadequacy, laziness, and lackadaisicalness. And to teach this lesson, we're going to go with Kill Bill's entire hit squad, the Deadly Viper Assassins, right? We're gonna go where, for those of y'all who are unfamiliar with the Tarantino film, Bill is the snake charmer, Beatrix is the Black Mamba, Lucy Liu plays Oran Ishii, and she's Cottonmouth, and so they're all named after snakes, and they're the deadliest assassins in the world, trained from the highest martial artist all the way to the way that they take orders and who they assassinate. Now, you may be like, it's a Tarantino film, DeJuan J. Come on, what are you gonna teach me? Okay, so let's kick it off. And for episode 1, I'd like to start with Beatrix. Now, for those of y'all who have not seen the film, Beatrix was attempting to leave the assassin's life, once she discovered that she was pregnant by, Bill. And she left the life. She found a regular schmegular guy, somebody that wasn't necessarily about that life, and Bill was having none of it. All right. So along with this conversation, I want to talk about breaking generational curses. Now, the reason that this is important is because she was getting ready to get married to this other guy. Bill shows up with the assassins, and, go see the film. But she was no longer valuable to Bill. She was no longer serving her usefulness and living to her purpose. So Bill just thought it was better to wipe her off the face of the planet. Now, what Bill didn't realize is that the baby that she was carrying was actually his. So it opens with Beatrix in a hospital, and she's waking up from a 4-year coma after being shot in the back of the head. Now, I know this is graphic. I know, I get it. It's graphic, but it's a Tarantino film, all right? So what I want to talk about, she left the life. She wanted to get out of this life because she did not want her daughter to grow up the way that she did. She didn't want her daughter to become an assassin or a killer or do things that were against her moral compass. And she just wanted to provide a regular, productive life for her daughter and set her daughter up for success. And she knew that in that environment, that was not the best success. So she wakes up, and obviously after 4 years, muscle atrophy has set in, and you can't just get up and move because you haven't been exercising. You can't sustain your body weight. Those in the medical field can back me up. When your muscles start to deteriorate due to lack of use. So she gets up, she tries to get up, and the first thing she has to do is convince her body that it wasn't actually broken, that she was actually alive, and get the electrons firing back to every aspect of her body. So the question that I'm asking you tonight, the question that I'm asking for the week actually, is how far are you willing to go to break a generational curse? How far are you willing to go to break a generational curse? We've all seen it. We've seen the memes. We've seen the motivational quotes. We saw the inspirational quotes. I refuse to grow up the way that my parents did. I'm providing a better life. I'm grinding to break generational curses. Okay, but how far are you actually willing to go? Now, according to the Gospel Coalition, a generational curse is a curse that is a cumulative effect on a person of things that their ancestors did, believed, or practiced in the past, and a consequence of the ancestors' actions, beliefs, and sins being passed down. What does that mean in today's society? Drug use, addiction, divorce, domestic violence, being prone to violence in itself, learning disabilities, not going to college, not seizing proper opportunities. Now, some of this is due to lack of resources. Some of it is due to lack of finances. Some of it is due to lack of knowledge or know-how that these things actually exist, and you can actually make a better life for yourself. So how do we get them the information? Well, first we start by sharing this series to let people know that the resources are available. And what do we do? What do we do about it? We're all tired of the generational curses. We're all tired of living life the same mundane, where we're being treated unfairly or we're being scorned. Maybe it's due to race, ethnicity. Maybe it's sexual orientation, sexual preference. Right? Maybe it's gender, like outright. But it seems that in today's society, this is the most tolerant generation to have ever lived, yet we're the most divided that we've ever been. People don't want to share resources, people being lovers of themselves, and things of that nature. We've become selfish. We've become guarded. We've become gatekeepers to our brothers and sisters. The same people that we look in the eye and call kings and queens. The same people that you got this, brother, but we won't share their content. The same people who we will applaud in public and talk negatively about in a group text. These same things. We become gatekeepers to our own success. And a generational curse is about more than the individual. It takes more than you to break a generational curse. Back to our story. After awakening from this 4-year coma, the first thing that Beatrix did was grab her stomach. With little to no memory of who she was due to being shot, with little to no memory of her skill set or what she was capable of, or anything of that nature, the first thing that she remembered was that she was pregnant. That brings us to our first point. We have to move with a sense of purpose. Her purpose and her life changed. Her focus in her life changed. From being the hit woman for hire, the baddest woman on the planet, from being the most feared woman on God's green earth, to just getting her daughter back, because my daughter cannot grow up the same way that I did. I refuse to allow this to happen. Which we have to pause right there and we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing to set up our future generation? What are we doing to set up our children? Are we sitting back, collecting our unemployment and our welfare checks? Are we continuing the same cycle that we swore that we wouldn't be? Are we becoming our parents? Are we becoming our grandparents, the people that raised us in this life that we swore that we wouldn't be? We swore it was going to be different. We said it was going to be different. But what actions are we taking? So she remembered that she had a purpose. But now, leaving the life, so to speak, they left her for dead. They left her for dead. In fact, they were going to take her out. Another assassin snuck in and was going to take her out while she was in this coma, but there was grace exercised on her behalf when it was informed to the assassin that, you know what, she deserves better than this. Which makes one think, how are we moving? Are we deserving of grace? Are we deserving of mercy? Are we honorable people? To the point that when we're at our lowest point, literally in a situation where we can't help ourselves, have we fostered the relationships? Have we been good stewards of our talents, of our attitudes, of our ego? To the point where somebody is like, you know what? They deserve better than this. And exercise a sense of grace, a sense of mercy. I digress. She went in with all knowledge of who she was dealing with. She didn't have any inadequacies. She was fully confident and capable, or fully confident that she was capable to complete this mission. There was no laziness. From the very moment she woke up and she realized her purpose, when she cradled her stomach and she realized her purpose, she realized that There's no time to move around. I have to move with motivation. I have to move with purpose. I have to move with precision, and I have to move with accuracy, because I'm only going to get one shot at this. Some of you people out there that's going to stumble across this video, stumble across this audio or the podcast form, you might refer to this as YOLO. You only live once. You only get one shot at this. You get one shot to get it right. Are mistakes allowed? Sure. Mistakes are fine. But how do you respond? How do you respond when life punches you in the mouth and you're laying flat on your back and you have to start from scratch? You can't move. You can barely keep your head above water, and you barely remember what happened yesterday. You can't even remember what you had for lunch. But how are we going to respond? What are we doing? This is the time when you need to start to implement plans, implement a vision. You can't just fly off the cuff with this kind of stuff, because that's usually what landed us in the situation in the first place. So she gets out of the hospital and she's on her mission. First place she goes to her old sensei. Sensei tells her, hey, you know what? I swore a blood oath. I'm not going to do this one thing. And it's been 28 years since I've done this thing, and I swore a blood oath that I'm not going to do it again. But for you, I'm going to do it, because I know that your cause is just. I know that your cause is righteous. I know that you're justified in the actions that you're about to take. And that's what we have to get back to. We have to circumscribe our actions and make sure that we deal square with everybody around us, because you never know what the hand that you're shaking today is going to be connected to tomorrow. You just don't know. So she builds the blood. She gets her former sensei to break his blood oath. And part of that was her and her good fortune and the way she treated people, and her purpose was just. But this is also the time where I need to pause and remind you that if you're not a good person, it will catch up to you. So the other part of her sensei breaking his blood oath was the target. He knew exactly what she was going to do, and that person was not a good person. So what is done behind closed doors, the stay off the grass and you cutting across the lawn, the running the red light, the creative financing that we're seem to be into right now, the creating the OnlyFans, and all I have to do is flash a couple bikini shots, and I'll make $100,000 this year. Kudos to you. Good on you. Good for you. I'm rooting for you. Good luck. But if that goes against your moral compass, it's going to definitely catch up with you. How then can you tell your children, stay out of the streets, don't do this, don't do that, and you're out here breaking all of the rules? It's hypocritical. And eventually, said child finds out. The cover's blown, and you'll never be able to speak into that person's life ever again. The person that looked up to you, idolized you, treated you like a role model, thought that you were the best person on earth, will never trust or let you inside of those guarded walls ever again. Is there redemption? Sure. But it'll never be the same. The third thing, she relied on her instincts. When she woke up from this coma, she didn't really remember anything. She was kind of on autopilot, but she trusted her instincts to accomplish the task that she needed to accomplish. And once she realized who she was and what she was, she then refocused, set her mind to task, trusted her instincts, moved with purpose, moved with righteousness, and allowed everything else to run its course because she was equipped. She was prepared. And I feel like that today, that's what a lot of us are lacking. We're lacking preparedness. But again, the question, how far are you willing to go to break a generational curse? For Miss Beatrix, she murdered an entire squad of assassins just to get her daughter back, just to provide a better life, just to break a generational curse. She was willing to die and to kill. And until you want to break that curse that bad, you won't break it. Until you need to break it, until you feel that burning desire in your heart to break that generational curse, you won't do it. It has to be that bad. It has to eat you up. It has to consume you until it's broken. Now, those religious among us that are gonna find, hear, and listen to this, he'll say, hey, submit to God fully, to his will, pray, forgive yourself, forgive the person that wronged you, and go about forgiving others. And repent, change behavior. And if that's what you believe, you're 100% correct. That is the way to do it. But if the church isn't your thing, if that's not your thing, this thing becomes your thing. It has to literally eat you up to the point where you can't live if you're not accomplishing this task. So that's the question. Has generational curse, has that become the default, the go-to amongst society? Has that become the crutch for us not putting in the effort to better ourselves with social media, with Google, search engines, and things of that nature? Like every piece of information that we could ever want, desire, is at our fingertips. Why are we not chasing it? Why are we not chasing down and stacking these resources in our toolbox to build a better future? You say you want to build a better future, a better life for those that are coming after you. Then act like it. How far are you willing to go to break a generational curse? Are you willing to kill? Are you willing to risk your life? Because if you're not, then you're not ready. And we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and figure this out. I'm gonna leave that right here. Be sure to tune in next week as we talk about Miss O-Ran Ishii and emotional trauma and the effect that it plays. Be sure to stop by, shop grownmanlogicpod.com. And we have all sorts of goodies on there. We have glasses. My first book, Dear Dominic, is there. Jammies, t-shirts, the works, with more stuff being uploaded daily. There's a fragrance line coming soon from Grown Man Logic. All available at shop grownmanlogicpod.com. You want to talk to us? Hit the comments. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you know every time that one of these videos go viral. But until then, this has been your VSOP Lounge. I'll see you next week. Cheers.